A very pleasant good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to the People's Forum of In the Streets with Big Stone. Now I want you to take a look at this video. This is a video about a man living at his house with his children, and members of the security force saw what they call a suspicious movement, and they went into his yard, and this is how the story unfolds. Take a look at the video. Then I'm going to come back and give you my commentary on this. Take a look.
What? No, what are you saying? No, man, you can't video. Video it. What you are saying? Video it, Jay.
Right, the reason why the police is on the premises.
Yeah.
And the members of the jury.
Video everything.
The member would have seen some suspicious movement. Seeing this young man moving to the side of the road.
Yeah.
Hence,
this is my son.
Yes.
17-year-old.
This is the reason for being on
my
the
premises.
Yes.
No suspicious. What was your suspicion? What exactly?
The soldier would
Uh-huh.
have seen this man, young man,
Uh-huh.
stepped out and moved back in.
See there? Wrong person. Anyway.
Hence, Sergeant.
Anyway, now I ask to leave my premises.
We have no problem.
Okay, I'm going to do it now. The children them, police for 20 odd years. You understand? Senior you.
Yes.
You understand? And you don't have no right to my premises. What kind of suspicious move he man move on with us? No man. Anyway, we don't know who me is now, so you can step out and go on the merry way.
But for your police.
The public premises unlawful.
What may I say? For your police.
Alright, Constable, what your name? Constable what?
Constable died.
Sorry, excuse me. I'm not going to shoot you.
Come on, man.
I'm his children, they laid on in class.
Thank
you. Have a good day. And next time you come here now, alright, don't walk in from the premises. Hold on.
Wow, 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 wow. Before I go into my commentary, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a little bit of background on me. I was a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. I joined in February 1976 and I graduated in September 1976. I trained with the likes of Cornwall Biggerford. I trained with the likes of Delroy Hewitt. Now, back in the days in 1976, I don't know if they changed the laws, but you couldn't just go into someone's private property without what you call a search warrant. What should happen is they should knock on the gate, announce they're present, this is the police or this is the security forces, we have a search warrant and we're coming in. Now they're legal to enter that property. Another way they could have entered the property, it is in pursuant of a crime. Say for instance, somebody just shot somebody, and on seeing the police, they ran away and they ran through that yard. Then they don't need a search warrant to go into that premises to apprehend the individual. The law says probable cause. Probable cause can make you do a whole lot of things. As far as I'm concerned, these young police officers, even though they didn't follow the book of the law, but their approach was very calm, they were very respectful, they wasn't loud and aggressive like some police officers could have behaved. And for that man to address them in the way he did, but somewhat arrogant. But let's check this out a little bit. What if the same situation, they're patrolling in, say, Beverly Hills or Cherry Gardens and so on, 12 midday, and they saw what appears to be a suspicious movement. Now, they could either knock and enter, but they cannot just enter someone's property. And I don't think they would enter a property with other people in it. Because obviously once they get to the gate, they must have seen children there, because I noticed even a young little baby was in the yard. So I doubt if they would enter a property up by Beverly Hills, Cherry Gardens, and so on and so forth. I do understand the kind of relationship with the people in the community and the police. And sometimes when the police behave a certain way, then the citizen tends to behave a certain way. Now, this man is supposed to be a trained police officer. He knows about using tact and discretion. And even if the policemen were wrong in just walking into his yard, which obviously they were wrong because he told them to leave and they just turned around and left, because they know they couldn't do much because they didn't have a search warrant. It wasn't legal by law to be on the man's property. It could have been dealt with a different situation. That man could have shown 20 years of service, pull the policeman to the side and says, "Officer, I understand that you saw some suspicious movement. I respect you for that, because we know there's a lot of movements going on these days. There's a lot of housebreaking and so on and so forth. So I respect you for the concern that you have on my property. But the law says you cannot just come onto my property and ask all the questions that you want to ask." And that would have been the end of the story. But he was very impolite, he was very arrogant. A matter of fact, he walked him out of his property, still clutching the knife. He didn't put the knife down. So it was a serious situation, whether you want to believe it or not. Anything could have gone wrong right there. I remember in the United States of America, I think it was 1984 or 1986, a woman, an EDP woman, her name was Eleanor Bumpers. She was suffering from that. She's like what you call an emotional disturbed person, EDP. And a particular sergeant got the report to go see, because they were carrying out an eviction on Eleanor Bumper. Now this grandmother was 67 years old. Police officer barged into her apartment. She was clutching a knife. And you know what the sergeant did? He opened fire and took the right hand of Eleanor Bumpers off. And when that wasn't enough, he opened fire again and shot her in her midsection. And guess what? All the policemen who were on patrol that day got off scot-free. Eleanor Bumpers was dead. The reason why I draw that scenario was the fact that when you see a man with a loaded firearm and you have a knife in your hand, you have to be careful of your action. Whether you're a policeman, you're ex-policeman, you're ex-soldier, or anybody. Because that policeman could be in fear of his life, because he had the knife in a manner, in a stabbing manner. In a matter of fact, he had the knife at a posture where he held on to the angle. I don't know if he was peeling sugar cane, cutting an orange, chopping up some lettuce. I don't know what the hell he was doing. He has every right to do that because that's his property. But I'm saying that the situation could have gone wrong and somebody could have ended up getting shot. If you notice, there were children there and so on. So I'm saying that the police sergeant, a matter of fact, I am a member of a group of ex-police. And I'm going to go now to that group and I'm going to read some of the remarks of what these ex-policemen and still serving policemen had to say about this. Either he's a sergeant, because one of them say he is, or either he's an ex-police officer. But let's go to the ex-police group that I'm a member of and take a look and listen at some of the things that these ex-police officers had to say about this particular man that was involved in the video with the police. Let's take a listen. Okay, here we are on the ex-police site, and I'm going to read some of the remarks. I'm not going to call these people's name because this is a private group. One person says, "Wow, then who can you blame the civilian populace?" Then another one said, "Boy, may I tell you, is he a serving member? So sad." Another one says, time will deal with this kind of behavior. And the other one says, time will deal with this kind of behavior coming from within. This calls for immediate attention. Another person says, he's a detective, he's a crime scene officer. Then another one said, he should be reverted. Then another one said, this is a display of arrogance and what appears to be bad policing. Are we still operating under the Suppression of Crime Act? Then another person says, how can we expect John Public to show respect to our officers when we show that we don't have any for our own? Rank and years of service is not immunity. And another one says, it is not what you do, it's how you do it. Not what you say, but how you say. Another one says, unbecoming behavior by a senior rank. Have the audacity to post or allow this to be posted, and for what purpose? Another one said, he's obnoxious. What a horrible behavior coming from a police officer. No wonder the public behavior towards the police is so horrible. If he's still serving, he should be demoted to a recruit. And another one says, my lips are sealed. And another one says, this sergeant is anti-police and is camouflaging in the organization's name. No true police officer or even an ex-police officer should treat a colleague or former colleague like that under no circumstances. The constable didn't act in an unprofessional manner, and for a serving member to behave like this is reprehensible. I am disgusted at the disrespect shown by this arrogant buffoon. What example are you setting for the public when you treat your own like that? Another one said, me vex no blood clot. Take him out of the police force. Another one says, and this is the final one I'm going to read, this sergeant is a total disgrace to the Jamaica Constabulary Force. The constable did no wrong, he should be punished. We are our own enemy. His son will never respect members of the security forces due to his behavior. Now you have heard some of what these ex-policemen and women had to say about this particular sergeant if he's still serving. There's no way I can prove that I'm not a serving member. But just looking at the video, the whole thing could have gone wrong. And respect is a two-way street. Even though those policemen came barging in because they didn't knock. That's why at the end of the video you'll hear him say, next time you knock before you come through my gate. This could have gone really, really wrong. And I'm saying that respect is a two-way street. Once it is given to you, you in turn must give respect. Because that's the only way we're going to coexist with each other. Now let me hear from you, ladies and gentlemen. I know you're not no police officers out there, but you have tact and discretion. You can use your own discretion. And a quiet answer, turn it away raw. I have to commend those policemen and soldiers. They didn't follow up with his arrogance. They just turned around and left. But what if that policeman says the next yard and sees something really bad going down? He's going to think twice before even thinking about going in that yard, because he might just run into an ex-police officer, an ex-soldier, or a serving member, and then to be ridiculed, and then for them to put up the video showing how they ridicule a fellow member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force and the Jamaica Defense Force. I'm going to vote a down for that police sergeant. He could have acted better. I understand the circumstances, but he could have acted better. Let me hear your comment in the comment section below. Please like and please share this video. And if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, now is the time to do so. Boy, it's a shame.